Here to do a topic which I've been itching to do for quite a while. It's one of the many ideas I had for a topic when I decided to start up this channel on myths and general discussions. I want to do a segment on the truth. It's a concept which is heavily misunderstood. Most people don't really grasp the concept of truth, and I just want to take a moment to share my thoughts on the truth with you. Now, if you think about it long enough, the truth, it's a figment of our imagination. Truth is nothing without perception, and perception is subjective. You understand what I'm saying? There's perspective requires opinion, or opinion requires perspective, however you want to put it. Not everyone has the same perspective, and perspective creates the truth. Therefore, not everybody has the same truth. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of crazy here, but to be honest, I don't think there is such a thing as the truth. I think there's reality as we see it. And how we see things differs greatly from person to person. And I think, until you can obtain an objective perspective, a completely impartial view of the world, you cannot have the truth. And for as long as we are human, we simply cannot have a completely unbiased perspective of the world. It's how do I put it? It's like, this is hard to explain. And maybe it's because it's not entirely the truth. Just as I'm trying to tell you that the truth is part of your imagination, even that might be a lie. Even that might be just my perspective telling me that. Just the way my brain operates, saying, hey, this is how it works. I don't know anything. What do I know? I'm 19 years old. I haven't seen even a fraction of the world. Maybe my 80-year-old grandparents have seen things that would blow my mind. They probably have. What do I know? I don't have an objective perspective. Unless a person has seen every event at the smallest and at the largest levels, at every point throughout history, unless they have seen everything that has ever happened in the universe, down to the last detail, they cannot have an objective truth, because the truth is based just upon what you sense and upon what you think you know. We can gain clues. We can do tests based on what we've observed to be true and apply that knowledge to other things we are capable of observing. We can do carbon dating. Testing the age of biological carbon based on the known and tested half-life of that carbon. Obviously, we don't know for a fact that this half-life of carbon-14 applies throughout all of history. For all we know, there was some electromagnetic force, I don't know even what you'd call it, because we don't know what it is, because we don't even know if it is. But if there was some factor in the past that caused the half-life of carbon to be manipulated, because we already know, or we can be fairly sure that black holes are able to distort time and space, that certain intergalactic phenomenon is able to distort space and time. This is already a very highly accepted hypothesis. It's not a theory because it can't be tested. Not precisely tested. But it's a widely accepted hypothesis. And, for all we know, something like that may have been on Earth back when these fossils were still walking around. And, so that, or even while the fossils were sitting in the dirt, some phenomenon could have been distorting the half-life of carbon-14, and so our estimates may not be exactly right. Now, I mean, we don't know if something like that existed, so on current knowledge, we have to assume, it's consistent. We have to assume that. Because until contrary knowledge arises, we have no reason to think otherwise. And that's the thing about the truth. It's most of the truth is assumption. The truth is not something you can just see and know this is the truth. And if you see something and you think this is the truth, then you're not really entitled to have a truth of your own. Because, in order to obtain the truth, you need to know that you're not actually seeing the truth. Does that make any sense? You see something, and if you just instantly accept it to be true, then you're not really working very hard to obtain the truth. Not hard at all. You're not even trying. In order to obtain the truth, you need to completely criticize the concept of everything you see. How do I explain this? Okay, I got a stack full of burnable DVDs here. But, how do I know? I've never, these are untouched. I've never tried to use them before. If I did, they'd be either in a sleeve with a name written on them, or they'd be in the garbage because they didn't work. These CDs are untested. DVDs, I should say. I've never put them into my computer. These particular discs, I've never put into my computer yet. So how do I know that they're actually 4.7 gigabyte DVDs? How do I know that the factory didn't put 4.7 gigabyte DVD labels onto 700 megabyte discs? I don't know that. I don't know that. It's Schrodinger's cat, You don't know something until you've tested it, until you've questioned it. Until you've questioned the integrity of something, you cannot know it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on truth for the day. I'm going to go reorganize my thoughts. Think back over everything I've said. I do that too. Even when I say something, even when I think something is true, I go back and I think on it after I've said it. And I think, does that actually make sense? And I criticize myself. That is how I obtain truth. Everybody has their own method. I hope you find yours. Good day.